Welcome to DFB Doing Florida Better. This is where we spotlight the programs, people, and partnerships that keep our community active, connected, and thriving. From youth sports and special events to community stories and city updates, we're bringing you the heart of a city defined by a beach and driven by community. Let's get started. This is DFB Doing Florida Better.
Welcome, everybody, to Doing It Better in Florida, which we like to call it DFB. This is our new podcast within the city of Deerfield Beach that we're doing, and I'm your host, Kelvin Walker. I wanted to do something a little different for our initial podcast, so I brought up two Deerfield Beach High School alumni that gives us a different perspective on how they grew up in the city to what they see now. And we have two different varying opinions and experiences, and I'd like to introduce them to you. First, on my far right, we have Mr. Tramain Hall, Deerfield Beach High School alumni, class of 2001. And then we have Deslin Alexandre, Deerfield Beach High School alumni, class of 2017. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for coming out and sharing your time with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so first of all, let me start with Mr. Hall. Just give us a little background on your football and being within the city and everything else like that.
And it's an honor being here. Growing up here, of course, I went to Deerfield Beach High School, played there. And, some people say you don't talk enough about yourself. Just a humble aspect. I thank God for the ability. Deerfield High School was at the time definitely a powerhouse, and I believe still has the capability of being a powerhouse again. From there, I played there, Sun Sentinel, All-American, 4-star guys, but there's a lot of those that come out of Deerfield and people don't understand that, right? So, different offers, University of Miami, Notre Dame, Ohio State. I chose NC State University. I had my various reasons for choosing NC State. It's probably about everything in life, relationship. So left there, went to NC State, where I went there and was a 2-year captain. So 2-year captain, pulled up some good accolades and done well in college. Biggest thing is I graduated.
Yes, sir.
So I'm the first in my family to graduate college. That put a staple on the movement of the course of the family where it's going. But done that in college. I ended up getting picked up by Tennessee Titans and then New Orleans Saints my last 3 years. So right here from this great city of Deerfield, small but powerful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And fun fact, everyone, I coached against Tramain when he was in high school. He put in some work now. He put in some work on the football field and the basketball court. He ain't talk about basketball now. He had some offers in basketball because he played on one of the more nationally renowned AAU teams, coast to coast, with shout out to Eric Austin. Mm-hmm. But Tramain was that boy, as you would say. He was that boy. But on to you, Mr. Alexandre. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm Deslin Alexander, and actually, I like Mr. Tramain. I went to Deerfield Beach High School, and which was a great experience, and I was led by Coach Javon Glenn, a great coach, a great visionary, just with the ability to have a vision and empower the young men. It was a great opportunity. Played with a lot of great guys, and was also afforded the opportunity to go to the University of Pittsburgh, where I went, and I excelled in academics, excelled on the field. Along like you, Tramain, I was a 2-time captain. I did a lot of great things there, but most importantly, being from Deerfield, I held most proud on my chest because of the grit, the hard work that I was ability to build there, which carried me throughout life. And like everything that Deerfield built within me, I was able to, use on the next level. And from there, I went undrafted to the New York Jets, and from there I played a short stint in Chicago in my last 2 years. I was with the Green Bay Packers. So it's also been a great career. And at the moment, I'm a free agent, but, just looking, for my next opportunity and just to keep excelling in my career.
Perfect. Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. And from talking with both of you guys before we started, I know you spoke about Coach Glenn, and I know you played for Coach Narduzzi. and similarly, you played for Coach Amato. You know, two, as they would call it, hard-nosed guys, defensive-minded guys, gritty guys, and everything else like that. Coming from the city, and then going to those campuses and those environments, how was your adaptation to that? You know, how was that transition?
It was a different environment from where I come from, and you know, predominantly black at the time. Yes, what you saw, that was your eyes laid on, and a lot of it was poverty. You know, and you got to see at the campus and outside the campus, you saw wealth. You know, you saw people in good spirits. You know what I mean? And not to say that the city of Deerfield didn't have that, but a lot of that for us, right? We didn't necessarily get to necessarily see that as much. As youth, I don't think we spent enough time on the opposite side of the tracks. So a lot of it was in our little space that we had, and the friends that we created, and what things that we were around. So adapting to that was one of the things of how do you control yourself. How do you control yourself? When that control, what I mean is freedom. Freedom to do. I'm his age, 18, 19, and I ain't got nobody tell me what to do. I got to operate this way, and this environment offers you so much more than what you had. And so that was a big change. But when it came to football, that's what we were used to.
Right.
That was the easy part of it. That was the easy part, and I think most of it, and what Ms. Alexandre probably speak on is just adjusting to the life of it, the life of it, and because if you said it before, if you never been a part of it, how do you learn to adapt to it? So it was an everyday struggle with that. I seen guys leave and have them go home because they couldn't adapt. Gotcha. Not to the football portion, but to off the field.
Mr. Alexandre?
Yeah, I think for me it was really more of a culture shock. Like everything that I was used to seeing was completely different. But on the ball side, Coach Glenn did a really good job of taking us through adversity and understanding how to deal with adversity. And I think one of the big things for me too was the weather. Like down here is cold, it's nice and hot, and always nice weather. But in Pittsburgh, it's cold, rainy, gloomy at times. But at the end of the day, we just always wanted to focus on what the task at hand and what was important. So I think being able to have a great support system around me, to help us focus on what was important. But it definitely was a challenge. But like anything else, man, you take little steps and you're able to get through it.
Gotcha. Perfect. So my next question would be sort of piggybacking on that a little bit would be the community experiences. So let's talk about the off the field stuff. When you were away at school, give me a little bit of what it was like being off the field in North Carolina, in Pittsburgh, and the differences or some of the things that you saw up there that was like eye-opening to you coming from South Florida, Deerfield Beach.
Well, for me, I think our culture was giving back. Our culture was like, what are you away from the field? So I thought it was really important that they made that a focal point, getting us out when on our off days, finding ways to help out kids, help out ways in the community, help out people. I think most importantly, it helped build us as men, right? Because we can do this great thing. We're afforded this opportunity to play football, but how are we able to give back? And it was just a great opportunity, in my opinion.
I developed leadership, from that aspect, and seeing the difference from where I came from to North Carolina was a very I knew black men that own businesses, but I saw black men thriving in their business. And when I say that, multi-millionaires and and took you under their wing when you went within that community, and wasn't afraid to show you how to be a leader and to show you how to be an entrepreneur. I didn't get that in Deerfield. I felt like everything had to be, this is mine, right? This is mine, but I understand where that mindset came from. So when I got that in North Carolina and seeing black men like that went to college, right, and come back and say, hey, little fella, we're gonna show you the ropes. At first, I resisted because that you showing you the ropes mean like I ain't know how to handle that. You be we hubbing everything we got, So,
What's the end game on
what's
it?
the end game? What's the end game? And for him to sit down and his name is Mr. Green. I remember to this day, his family sit down and say, I want nothing but you to prosper. It's bigger than football. Right then and there was something I understood about giving back. So I vowed within that time to say, you know what, I'm a man of faith, and when it happens, Lord, you give me the opportunity to give back. That's what I'm gonna do the best way that I can, right? So that was eye opener. You can say forget football. That this right here, somebody like that on that level to take their time out with you, and pour into you. So it was, you had some of it in our city, but a lot of it was, I got to get mine.
I mean, I really love to piggyback off that. I think that's a really important thing to someone who's done what you want or experience what you want to go and be able to, kind of give you a hand and say, let me show you how they've done it. I think I've seen that in forms of football where older guys have showed me the way, and also like people in the business world and more, opportunities that I haven't had the chance to explore at the moment, to be able to, show you the way, lead the way, and kind of just give you a couple pointers, because nowadays a lot of people like to hold on to information. I believe knowledge is free, information is free, and it really doesn't take much to be able to share back with the youth and empower somebody, and essentially just let them know that they can make it too, and give them some empowerment, give them some power. And I think our community needs more of that from each of us. Every day that we can take a second to give somebody's, a little acknowledgement, a little, confidence to keep going and whatever they're facing, and understanding that they can do it as well, I think is super important.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. And I'm going to piggyback on that. Let's talk about the community itself right now. When you guys came back after your careers or in between your career, and now you see what the city has become compared to what it was when you were younger. Obviously, you're looking at it through different lens. Back then you're looking at it from a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old. Now you're grown men, with a family. And talk to us about the differences within that you've seen in the community and how you'd like to try to make an impact or give back to the community, as you were saying.
Leadership. Leadership is powerful. Well, just another thing about college, you were able to be around great leaders, from the coaches to the assistant coaches, men that were in position to lead other young men. You know what I mean? So for us to come back and see the community and where it's at, honestly, I like this podcast. I like to see people care more. Because at the end of the day, like there's a level, and there's a whole nother level of caring. There's one level I get a check, and I'm gonna do very little, and then another level say I'm gonna go outside of my check. So as a president of the Pack of Rattlers, right, I'm going outside of a check. I don't get a check, but every day you realize what the empowerment and impact that you get to leave, because people like Mr. Bernard Adams, who originally started the Pack Rattlers in 1976, I'm pretty sure he went outside of his paycheck, right? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure in his mind, like, he just wanted to build something for these young people to do, and it equated to something so much larger, to the point that most Deerfield at one point had the most NFL players in the league from one Broward community, and so active players, so for that, like it's like wow, but the standpoint now, what you see is different integration, people coming in, talking to some of my friends who are real estate guys, and they say Deerfield's a gym. My mind, I'm looking like, bam, okay, but again, as us, as Black people and that's been in the community and who are still in the community, and not the point that you don't want to invite others in because you do, because you said it, property value and just being able to feel different culture, and you're getting that, you're getting the Brazilians, you're getting the white, it's filtering to that, and I think it helps a whole bunch, but again, that leadership, that understanding of what it really takes to take a city to the next level, that's important, super important. So I see the changes. That's why I spoke to you about the changes. I see them every day that I pull in here, right? And you only hope to God the people around you see it as well. But no, I think it's wonderful. It's wonderful. But again, it's going to take the continuation of people being in the right leadership places for that thing to continue to excel. So, yeah.
I totally agree with that. I think for me, I think it's super important that we be able to get out, and because perspective is one heck of a thing, right? Mm-hmm. And at times being here, you always kind of look at the negatives at times, or like it's not enough or this, and then you get a chance to go out and see how other people is living, and I've been able to be in a couple different cities, and then I come back here and I never realized how blessed we are. Beautiful weather, beautiful people, great land of the great city of Deerfield Beach. And I remember in the football games they said there's no place like home, and there's no field like Deerfield. And I truly believe that, because Deerfield is a special place with the people starting like a lot of great people that's come from Deerfield, not even just from the sports the land is rich. There's a lot of like opportunities, and to be able to see how other people live, and then I come back to Deerfield and I'm like, man, that kind of just seeing that perspective makes me want to continue to pour back into Deerfield, because like the opportunities is endless in Deerfield, I think as more and more as leadership continues to rise and pour back into Deerfield, I think just the more the city gets to grow in the whole.
Correct. I'd like to, at some point, and I know athletics is a great way, and the arts is a great way to interact with the youth, but I'd like to see, touching on a little bit what you said, Tramain, is that the involvement, the community involvement. We had the John L. Tigner Center here, the community center here, and we have a bunch of just incredible programs. I've had the opportunity to work for many different municipalities, but this municipality is different because of the size of the city and the scope of the programs and what it has to offer. And again, we have the community center here, we have the athletic programs and things of that nature, but I just don't see the involvement and talking to some of the members in the community. Sometimes we as humans, we like to say, well, it was different when, or we used to do it this way. And I think they don't understand that, things change, times change, people change, and that is the emphasis changes. You know what I mean? So the community centers that I grew up in were different than when you guys came along. You know what I mean? And now that you're grown men, the community center is taking on a whole different level. So it's not just about coming in and playing pool or playing checkers or jump rope or hopscotch or whatever, Foursquare, whatever, I'm naming games from when I was young. But, it's more or less now that, okay, I can learn to do a podcast. I could go into the computer lab and actually work on homework. I could learn, exercise. I can get fitness. I can come on the weekends and get some extra work in math and science and reading and I could do so many other things, but I think they get caught on the recreational part, just the games, but they're missing out on the other part because we have these programs here, but sometimes you don't see the participation from particular groups, and you're like, okay, well, if you're not coming to a center that's in your neighborhood, that's offering you programs that others outside of your neighborhood are taken advantage of, then what does that say? Because eventually you're removing yourself out of the equation, is what I'm saying. Instead of just being a part of what's going on and embracing it and learning so you can evolve as well, you're staying in your same state while the world is changing. You know, and I see some people attempting, and I know change is hard. You know, us as humans, we don't accept change very well. You know, most people don't. But you know, for the sake of our youth, I commend you two young men as far as coming back, giving back, being able to tell your stories and share your stories with the youth, and like you said, pulling someone up out of their situation up into another level and showing them that, hey, I did it, you can do it. You know what I mean? And I think we're going to have more stories like that. And I think even in the youth out there now, there's going to be someone that's in the Packer Rattlers organization, someone that's at Deerfield Beach High School, that's going to be the next Tramain Hall, the next Deslin Alexandre, that's going to be able to tell their story and share their story with the community and with the world, that can further show that, hey, Deerfield Beach, man, they got something going on down there, man. They got something really happening down there. I think we're overlooking it. You know, people look at Fort Lauderdale, they look at Pompano, they look at Palm Beach and Boca and everything, but they sort of skip over Deerfield sometimes. But like you said, you know, at one point, you know, we had the city had the most young men in the NFL, active players. You know what I mean? You talking about from schools like St. Thomas, you know, Blanche Ely, Dillard, Boyd Anderson, you know, teams that are Carroll City, Miami Northwestern, you know, teams that are generally just pumping out NFL players, NFL prospects, I would say, that are much bigger in population. But, you know, if you go, you know, with the size of the per capita and everything, Deerfield Beach, you know, holds its own with all of them. You know, I would say, you know, as they say, they punch above their weight, you know. And I want to change that from they to we. You know, we punch above our weight. So on my last topic that I would like for us to talk about, or for you guys to share, is where do you see Deerfield Beach within the next 5-10 years, or where would you like for it to be in the next 5 or 10 years?
When you look at it right now and being involved in it, you know, involved in some of the things that are happening, for me, I still love the inclusiveness of everybody else, right? I love the, you know, that people are collectively coming together in those things. But I just see next 5-10 years of, you know, from my standpoint, like, you know, great leadership, you know, our city evolving into a place where, you know, it's not just a tourism, but a sports stop, you know what I mean? I mean, people coming in and they're spending, you know, money in the city of Deerfield, you know, through, you know, things for our sports and you know, festivals. And, you know, at one time, it was a Mango Fest, right? It was one of the largest festivals, right? Like, I mean, people would come in from different states, you know, and lo and behold, it's just, you know, all that seemed to have went away, right? And I see the next 5-10 years, you know, that part of Deerfield coming back, right? When I say coming back, in a better way, in a better light, right? For people to be, you know, energized about living here. You know, you talk to people like, oh man, I don't want to live here no more. I understand why you say that, because you said, well, a lot of them are living in that old mentality, and there's a new movement happening within the city. And 5 or 10 years, that new movement is going to look tremendously different. You know, so, you know, again, I just see that as far as, you know, again, I see housing different. You know, you know, those different aspects, and it comes in with different people, and we have to be able to embrace that, right? And I see as a Packer Rattler organization, it's just not what we're dynamically, you know, young black kids, African American kids. I see culture of integration of everyone. You know, and we had a few, and I say that we had a few, you know, other races on our team, and
Right.
and that was good.
Yes.
But I see 5-10 years of that being even more,
Correct.
even better. So,
Correct.
yeah.
For me, the vision I have for Deerfield Beach, I see everyone coming together, right? Putting their differences aside, putting their personal benefits aside, and just, everyone pouring into to each other, pouring into the community. The Raptors just continue to do great things. The city's businesses continue to grow, and as you say, I think housing is something that needs to really be talked about more. That more opportunities continue to come, and people starting to see better living situations for them, better opportunities for them, in terms of opportunities for them to thrive outside of their everyday lives, and even more opportunities within everyone being able to come together, as you said, the Mango Fest, or different opportunities that we can bring other people to come and discover Deerfield Beach, because Deerfield Beach is a great place, and a lot of great people, a lot of great families, and just so the world be able to see more of what Deerfield has.
Yeah, I think that's going to be great. I think the city is really going through a nice evolution, and it's growing. Like you guys have mentioned, you have different communities, different thoughts and thinkers that are coming in, influencers. They're just it's a nice melting pot is what I like to think of it as, because I haven't been in the city long, but I've been here long enough, and I've caught certain things, and I'm like, wow, you have a lot of diversity in this city. And in 5 or 10 years, the city is gonna be even more diversified. So I think the city's on a trajectory, and people better hop on now.
Yes.
You better hop on now, because if you don't, I think you may get left behind.
Yes.
You may get left behind. But I do want to thank you guys. I think for me with this pod, for this episode, I wanted to show two aspects. I wanted to show young black men that use their talents and were able to gain so much more, from their talent. You know what I mean? Both of you guys were able to take it to the highest of levels. And you've been able to experience some things that most of us, like you said, top 1%, most of us will never even fathom. You know what I mean? But you're able to come back, share those experiences, pour into the community, pour into the individuals, and then, whatever happens, happens. But you've done your part. You know what I mean? You, like they say, you can take the horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. But you guys have definitely been an asset, and I want to thank you guys for coming on our pod this morning. And I can't wait to see, again, what we take this to, the pod and the city. City has tremendous programs. They have tremendous events, and people need to come out and support and get involved. Even if it's not something that you may be particularly interested in fully, but just to know what's going on. You know what I mean? Because if you only go to the things that you know about, then you're gonna have a whole lot of knowledge about one thing, and 90% of everything else you're gonna be unaware of, and that's gonna be the 90% that keeps you in the black. But thank you guys for sharing time with us this morning. I appreciate you guys for coming out. And Coach, if you want to share anything as far as Packer Rattlers registration,
We're looking for guys, like yourself, what I mean? That's been there and able to, help kids, understand the game. Winning is good, but we want kids leaving the game with the understanding of it. What does it mean to be going through the 1, 2, 3, 4 hole? What does it mean 3 technique? What do those things mean? Because they equate to them as they continue want to play the game of football. So Ms. Walker, you said knowledge is powerful, right? And within knowing different things. So a lot of these kids that we get in Packer Rattlers are year one guys now, because the organization is really coming back under good leadership. And so we may not be getting the local all-star, right? And that's okay. That's okay. We're building something for the next 5-10 years. So that's what Packer Rattlers, that's what we need. That's what we need. We need our community. We need those people that positive about our community, that's going to come back and add value to what we're doing. We got enough naysayers, around us, right? We want the people that's going to come back and give back into our kids and in the program, right? In the program, and again, as I close out last year, a lot of naysayers, but we had 189 football players. You know what I mean? 100 cheerleaders. Okay, so we were heading in the right direction, and with that direction, I know for a fact it takes great people. Well, we talk about the e-board. We are one person. We can't do it all. Correct. We can't do it all, and so we need our community. We need those people, black, white, Brazilian, whatever it is, in this melting pot. Come be a part of what we're doing, and so we can be a part of what you're doing too. Yeah, soccer's good. It's going crazy. The hockey thing you got going, Ms. Walker, it's going crazy. It's everybody needs to come together on that. So that's what we are with the Pack of Rattlers, and that's what we need.
Gotcha, Coach. Mr. Alexandre, what you got going on? What you can tell the people about where they can catch you?
Well, you can catch me on Instagram, and just continue when my next opportunity come. So my next team in the NFL, that's how I'll definitely be. And also, just catch me in the community. Continue to work different aspects. I'm working on some things and trying to find ways to add value to the city and add, affordable housing and opportunities where people can have, a good place to lay their heads, and that's something I'm working on. Things are, still in kind of beginning stages, so I don't have much to share on that standpoint, but gotcha. I do have a good vision, and I just want to, give back and help people because that's what my heart is.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you guys for coming on this morning to welcome to DFB, Doing It Better in Florida. I'm your host, Kelvin Walker, and thank you for sharing your time. God bless.